Good morning, everybody. It is fuel pump day on the Corvette, and this should be a pretty easy, quick job because the fuel pump is right here underneath this. It's not like other cars you have to get under the back seat or you have to drop the fuel tank, or like some pickup trucks where it's easier just to cut a hole in the bed. It's literally, you take this cover off, take off some bolts around here, and you pull the whole assembly out. I've got a new pump over here. I'm not changing the whole sending unit, I'm just changing the pump. We got some accessories that came with the pump. This is the fuel pulsator and the filter screen. So that's it. This is just held on by some 15 Torx, size 15 Torx. There's 4 of them. There's 2 in the back too. We just zip those off. With that cover off, take off the fuel cap. And this is just a rubber piece surrounding the top of the tank. So you just kind of pry that all the way around and pop it out. This is a bad habit of mine. Usually when I'm working on the cars, I don't take the time to disconnect the battery, but since we're working with gasoline and fuel vapors, I went ahead and disconnected the negative terminal. I also backed the car into the sun, so hopefully we could see a little better here. You got a couple hose clamps holding the fuel lines on. There's a old style spring clamp here. Try and get that with one hand. There we go. And I'm going to undo these. This connector here, you do have to undo that connector, and that doesn't disconnect there. There is a connection back here. Mine is loose and free. It looks like there's a tab broken off, but we'll just disconnect that. Sometimes it might be up against the back bulkhead here, but mine's just hanging there. We'll just disconnect that. And then these bolts are 10 millimeters. And we'll just zip those out. I'm going to get all that done right now. The hoses are off. You should have a paper towel handy because you are going to get some fuel dripping out of those lines. Just be careful. Mop that stuff up as it comes out. All the bolts are out. Everything's disconnected. Let's go ahead and pull the whole unit out. Here is the old assembly. The old gasket that goes around the top of the tank. I do have a new one of those. And looking at this, I mean, the sock looks pretty crappy, actually. Looks like there's a lot of sediment in there. I'll put the new one on. This one is missing the pulsator. I don't know if this was from the factory without it, or if this might be an aftermarket sending unit, but I believe there's supposed to be the pulsator there, so I'm gonna take that off and slip the pulsator on. I'm just going to give this a quick once over and then start taking it apart. There's an electrical connector here I'm going to pop off and just slide up. Good. I'm going to clip. Am I going to clip it? I'm going to try and pry this sock off. It should be pretty easy. I don't want to. I'm trying not to bend other parts of this thing, but this should just come off. It's pretty tight, and I don't know why. I'm going to break these and take these off. When I put the pulsator on, it's not going to need any hose clamps, so I'm not worried about grabbing any other ones. There we go. There's one. Let's get that other one. And there's 2. So I got the old sock off. I just wound up breaking it. Pretty much pulling and twisting until it broke. I'm going to take the rest of this line off. See, we got our new pump here. This is the bottom. This is where the sock attaches. This is the top where the pulsator is going to attach. I'm just going to stick that in right now. It just pushes on like that, as far as I can tell. And where's my rubber? Here we go. This rubber piece goes just like that. And it all slides back into its little holder, like that. And the only thing holding all this together is, something's messed up. All right, change of plans. The pulsator won't really work on this particular assembly. It must be aftermarket, because if I were to put the pulsator on and push the fuel pump all the way up where it's supposed to be, I get a big gap at the bottom. So what we're going to do is, I'm actually going to reuse the old rubber piece for the bottom, because this one has little nubs to help keep it in place. This one does not. So I'm just going to throw that back to the side, and I'm going to muscle this one in, just like that. Let's get that through. Pull you. There we go. And this one will do the same thing. Take our new fuel pump and our new rubber piece, slide it over nice, just like that. I'm switching sides over here to try to avoid some of the shadows. A little WD-40 on the pump to help slide this rubber on. Won't hurt anything. Give it a quick spritz. And it should slide right on, and it does nicely, perfect. All right, now we're going to take we've got new hose clamps here. Came with the kit, and they also came with this length of hose, which I'm guessing is to replace this one. But this one, you know what? I'll just cut this to length and replace it anyway, since I have brand new hose. Why not? You know what? Again, brand new tubing. It's a little tight. A little spritz of WD-40 ain't gonna hurt a thing. Put it on there. Wonderful, perfect. Drop 2 new O-rings on there. I'm gonna do the same thing with this. I'm gonna give it a quick spritz, WD-40. And I'm going to muscle this guy back in. Perfect. I'm gonna line this bottom part up. It's already pretty much aligned. There we go. All right. Before I do anything else, I'm going to tighten these up. This connection, put this back. Ooh, it's getting warm out here today. Click. And the new sock. This sock will slide right on, just like that. All right, everything's back together. This is, I'm pretty sure this is on well enough because I can't twist it or move it. We're gonna put everything back in. I've got the new gasket in there already. It's tough to see with the shadows, but it's in there. I'm just gonna try and get this sender back in, and then we'll button it up. One thing I did just notice is that there is only one way that this gasket will fit correctly. You got 3 holes, those go on the bottom. Then you have a 50-50 shot of whether it goes this way, whether it goes this way. And it's subtle, it's very, very subtle, but if you look, the 2 holes on the right side of the gasket are closer together than the 2 on the left. And it's very, very subtle, but you can kind of tell. This is the way that it goes. The 2 holes that are closest together go on the passenger side of the car. 3 holes on the bottom. Got the bolts all buttoned back up. Just gonna slip the hoses on now. Hose clamps are back on. Don't forget your electrical connector. Before I finish putting the cover on, I'm gonna put the battery on and start the car and make sure she runs. Fires right up. Everything's back together. The car runs. Easy job for the most part. That's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.